Y'all almost had me rooting for this shit between Nick and Umeko, but considering that Beyonce is the only black woman that he knows, I'm getting ready to be on his neck. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, it's Nate. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Million Dollar Secret Season 2, Episode 4, so if you haven't seen it yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on Episodes 4, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like and a hype before you go. As a reminder, this is only Episode 4, don't talk about nothing that happened in Episode 5. That's getting its own dedicated video. So Nick gets the money, and I'm honestly already annoyed when the episode first starts because Nick doesn't need this money. He's over here talking about he about to hit the club and start spending.
We got a chest full of $100 bills. We're hitting the clubs tonight. How you doing, baby?
And it's like, okay, yeah, that's fun, but can y'all please give this money to someone who could actually use it to better their life? It's giving trust fund, baby. I don't know. Because I don't know anyone who's getting ready to come into $1 million and the first thought that they have is, I'm about to go blow this at a club. That's the equivalent of being like, I'm about to go spend this on sneakers. What are we doing? Use it to get ahead in life. Like, I don't know what y'all don't be thinking enough for me sometimes. This is the agenda that he gets.
You must tell 4 people who their celebrity doppelganger is.
And if he wasn't able to complete it, he was going to get automatic votes against him at the elimination dinner. If he did complete it, he got the double barrel kill shot, assuming he doesn't get voted out. Now, this episode does get pretty interesting. Something that Melissa takes the lead on and that the group initially kind of agrees with, but then they kind of fall off, is the fact that they want to meet in groups. And they want to do that because if the millionaire is going to try to complete an agenda, there's always going to be someone there who would see it. I like this. I think it's a good strategy. I actually think they could have taken it up a notch and said, we're only going to meet with the same group of people. So there's 10 of them at this point in time, I think. They could have said, this is your group of 5 and this is your group of 5. And the reason that I say the same group of people is because if you're with the same other 4 people all day, those people are going to 100% know everything that you did whenever you were in the group setting that entire time. If you start mixing and matching the group, then it's like, well, I did it in front of them, but you didn't see me do it. So if they were going to try to do something like that, and everybody, of course, but the millionaire, everybody was on board with it, then all they had to do was say, we going to get designated groups to be in. They could have really took control of the game that way. You never end up mixing, thus the millionaire would have never gotten in front of new eyes and wouldn't have been able to complete the agenda. Because if you're saying 4 different times to the same 4 other people, you look like this person, you look like this person, you don't think they're going to catch on to that? They would have caught on immediately. It literally would have made the task impossible. And I don't even think he would have attempted it. Thus, he would have had 4 votes against him at the elimination dinner. And honestly, we wouldn't even be talking about him anymore because he would have been eliminated. He would have been going off this show. But honestly, that might not have been something that Netflix even allowed them to do because it would have changed the dynamics of the game. He would absolutely not have been able to complete the agenda. Thus, it would have made for no suspense during the game. So maybe Netflix wouldn't have even allowed them to do that. On top of that, who's going to listen? Like, Melissa really isn't any type of authority in this game. No one is really an authority in this game. So why would they have listened to her if she proposed that? I don't know. But what I'm saying is, if you're playing as a group for the betterment of the group and making sure you vote out the correct millionaire, I think everybody would have been on board with sticking with they same 5 people, they same 4 other people besides the millionaire. So, you know, maybe they should have did that. They may have made it too easy for the millionaire to be eliminated. That being said, they did make it extremely easy to eliminate Altie because that keeping it real clue was a dead giveaway. However, I do think in Altie's situation, he kind of set himself up because he did not have to do the agenda at all. A lot of people forget that that was an option. It's like, oh, they set him up because the clue was easy. It's like, yeah, but the clue was only easy because he attempted the agenda. Being the first person as the millionaire, he had no heat on his back. Literally no one was looking his way. And so the only incentive to complete the agenda as the millionaire is so that you can get some type of advantage. If he didn't complete the agenda, he would have had 3 votes automatically against him at the elimination dinner. But that only would have mattered if people were looking his way anyway. And nobody was looking his way, and they would not have had he not done the agenda. It's kind of like a chicken and egg thing. And really, it's not a chicken and egg thing. He did the agenda first, thus eyes ended up being on him. Had he decided, I'm not going to complete it, I'll take the risk to have 3 votes against me, he would have still been in the game because nobody would have voted for him. And that's just what it is. So it was poor strategy on Altie's part, but I digress. Now, Nick ultimately decides that he's going to use his romantic advantage with Umeko in order to better position himself in this game. And I'm a little iffy because, I don't know, it just goes back to me, ultimately goes back to how black women are treated on reality TV shows, not just dating shows, anytime a black woman is on a reality show. I am a little bit overprotective of us, and I think that's fair because I'm a black woman. I'm always going to look out for black women unless they're being crazy. Don't be crazy. But in when it comes to the conversation of reality TV, we often get bad edits, or, you know, just get shown in a bad light or get the shit end of the stick. Like, that is typically what happens when it comes to black women being on reality shows. And so when I see a black woman getting used on a reality show, I'm like, I don't like it don't sit right, like, in my heart of hearts. And the thing about it is, as a girly, I feel for Umeko, because I know what it's like to have a crush on a boy. Like, she's like, oh, he's a cutie patootie, like, he's cute, he flirting with me, he like me, I like him back. I understand that feeling, so I'm like, damn, I love that for her. But at the same time, she's allowing it to cloud her judgment, and I hate that for her. She's looking out for this man when this is a game where the prize is $1 million hairs. Look out for your damn self. And I feel like he's kind of playing her, and she's too lust drunk to see it. Especially considering the fact that I know Nick is going to be on Perfect Match, so I know they don't end up together. Netflix just released the cast list for Perfect Match. By the way, Jimmy for Love is Blind is going to be on there, and Jimmy looks fine as hell, as a side. I've also come to the conclusion that Nick used Million Dollar Secret as his jumping off board to enter the Netflix cinematic universe so that he could be on Perfect Match. If you watch Perfect Match, you know that in order to be on that show, you have to have been on another reality TV show, preferably a dating show, preferably a Netflix show. Sometimes they mix it up, but not all the time. Him being on Perfect Match just lets me know that the only reason he was on this show was so that he could have an end to the Netflix cinematic universe. And I ain't mad at it. But that is the reason. So I know that Nick and Umeko are not going to be together, because otherwise this man wouldn't be on Perfect Match. So I'm like, he using her, and I don't like that. Because how you going to sit there and let this man compare you to Beyonce? You don't look a damn thing like Beyonce.
Your main character.
What do you mean?
Like Beyonce or something.
Now, to be fair, he doesn't say she looks like Beyonce. He says, oh, you have main character energy like Beyonce. But something, again, doesn't sit right with Beyonce being the only black woman that came to his mind. You couldn't think of any other black woman? If he was really tapped in, he would have said Gabrielle Union, because that's immediately who I thought when I looked at her. I was like, she favors Gabrielle. But you chose Beyonce because you don't know any other black women. Beyonce and Umeko are not even the same shade of brown. You could have said Nia Long or something. Umeko is clearly Filipino and black. What about Beyonce says Filipino to you? Let's really be serious for a second. Clearly Umeko, in name and eyes, has Filipino in the mix. And you say Beyonce. Something about that just grinds my gears, because Beyonce is the only black woman that you know, and I don't like that. I just don't like that. Now, to Nick's credit, he does say that he doesn't know a lot of celebrities.
I don't even know celebrities that well or whatever, but we'll think of some references.
So maybe it's not just the black ones. I do have to throw that in there. I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's not just the black ones. Maybe he don't know nobody. But again, that has just been my experience when I see black women on reality TV. And so nobody try to gaslight me on this. I'm not pulling it out of thin air. That is very much a real thing that happens to black women on reality TV. They get used. So I'm not completely making that up. To be fair, though, I'm also bad at names. Like, I'm really good. I won't even say really good. I'm fairly good at knowing what celebrities look like. But when it comes to names, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, what's that one person that's in that one movie? Like, I know their face well. I know I've seen them in something. I could recognize them. But if you ask me their name, Harpo, who is this man? Sorry to this man, I don't know this man, because I won't be able to tell you their name. So on that side, I'm like, okay, maybe he just don't know their name, so he can't say it. And so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt on that, but I don't have much benefits left in my doubts, so let's not get crazy. He does randomly compare Hunter to Matthew McConaughey, which maybe I can see why he did that, but does Matthew McConaughey have curly hair? Editor, aka me, put Matthew McConaughey on the screen. Do he have curly hair? I don't know. Maybe he do. I just need Umeko to stand the hell up, okay? I would not have gone and told this man that his name was being thrown out.
Everybody thinks it's you.
Who?
Everybody.
He already knows his name is being thrown out because he's a 99 baby and all the 99 babies are on the chopping block right now. He already knows that. You didn't need to go tip this man off for a damn thing. Let him play his own game. If the pool for Who the Millionaire was like 7 different people, if 7 different people were born in 99, I would say, okay, maybe tell him like, hey, I know it's 7 of us in this pool, but they looking at you. There's only 4 options for 99 babies. Why would you go to one out of the other 3 people it could possibly be other than yourself and tell him that everybody's looking at him and in doing that helping out his game? Please, somebody make that make sense for me, because it does not make sense to me. I need you to focus. But of course we know that he completes the agenda. And actually, I would love to get some other opinions on this. Do y'all think that the timers on the games are real? And do y'all think that the agendas are completed without producer interference? And here's why I'm asking those two questions. During Nick's agenda time, he gets down to what, like 10 or 15 seconds left on the clock? He's about to fail the agenda. And out of nowhere, Kasey tells Hunter that he looks like Tom Cruise. Which he does, I'll give him that. He looks like Tom Cruise. Because Kasey says that, Nick is able to slip in, oh yeah, you do look like Tom Cruise. Therefore, comparing him to a celebrity and completing his challenge.
You're stunning.
Yep.
You look like Tom Cruise. You guys are a power couple.
You're Tom Cruise, bro. Hell yeah.
What are the odds that his agenda gets down to the last 10 seconds and he's able to slip that in? And let me clarify. I'm not saying that producers told Kasey to say that. What I'm saying is they manipulated the clock. They showed us that it was only 10 seconds left on the clock when either it had already ran out or it was a lot more time left. We know, we talk about it all the time on dating shows, we know that they have the power to cut things up and make it seem like something that it wasn't. All they doing with that timer is throwing essentially an overlay over the video. Just like if I want to put a picture up over my video, it's the same thing. I could put a countdown timer over my video. And I could say, oh my God, it got down to the wire of when the sun was about to go down. But it's like, that's not real. It's just a timer. It's just an overlay that I put on the video. So I know that it's that easy. Again, I'm always going to stand by this. And I don't know, it could just be because I'm just too forgiving for the entertainment industry because, you know, I'm from LA and I've lived in close proximity to it and I understand it a little bit better than most people. But a producer's job is to produce. As a viewer, I'm like, how dare they give that person a bad edit and all of these things, but at the end of the day, that's their job. Their job is to produce the show. Why do you want to watch the show? Because they're making it a good production. And so I always have this kind of like love-hate relationship with the production of reality TV because I know that it's not all real. At the end of the day, it's movie magic, some of it. And so am I mad if they, stir up a little drama and add a little countdown a little bit too close to the end? Not necessarily, but I do wonder if that's what's being done because you tell them you got down to 10, 15 seconds and all of a sudden you have an end to complete your agenda. Like, I don't know. That's just me. Nick also says multiple times that he doesn't really know a lot of celebrities. I wonder if they gave him a list of celebrities and said, hey, these are a list of celebrities who your castmates kind of look like, find an in. And I say that, not the Beyonce comment, but I say that because I don't know, something about it. Like, you telling me you don't really know celebrities that well, but you're able to throw out a random lookalike that Hunter looks like Matthew McConaughey. I feel like that's a very specific actor to know. You know what I mean? Because Matthew McConaughey, very talented, giving him his flowers all day, but he's not actively acting right now. Not like he was in the 90s and 2000s. And so for me, it's just, I don't know. That's just like a random person to come to mind off top like that. And so I just wonder if he got a list. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. Also, I've already shared this clip, but I'm going to share it again here for context. When Nick is talking to Peter, when he first gets the agenda, he says, I don't really know any celebrities, but we'll come up with something.
I don't even know celebrities that well, but we'll think of some references.
Who is the we in that situation? Because the only one who has this agenda is Nick. Let's talk about the wine cellar group challenge, which I really enjoyed. I love this because it had different mini challenges within the challenge. And pretty much immediately, 2 people volunteered to be the ones to stay back in the rooms, making the decision much easier for the team. Lauren G is the first person, and her reasoning is solid to me. She don't drink wine, so why would she want to be anywhere in a wine game? She didn't know if they were going to be asking questions about wine or talking about wine flavor profiles or anything. So she said, I'm going to bow out because I don't know nothing about this. This ain't my area. You love a girlie who understands her strengths. So her reason for staying back, valid. Melissa's reason for staying back, not so valid. This entire time, like I said, Melissa was the one spearheading this strategy of, well, we all need to stay in a group. Why would you be so willing? You volunteered to separate yourself from the group early on. You're the person that was pushing to stay together, so I just don't understand why you would purposely take yourself out of the group. And like, I understand that somebody was gonna have to stay back regardless. Trust me, I get that. So she was just trying to save time because it was a race against the time for the other team, but it's just odd that she was the one to do it. Like, if anybody else would have volunteered for the sake of time, I would have been like, okay, I get it. But because she was pushing so hard to stay in a group and she chose to separate herself, thought it was weird. I don't know. The only reason that I can think of stuff for Melissa to voluntarily so early in that game decide to stay back is because maybe she thought that the first person who volunteered to stay back in the first room would get some type of advantage, because that very well could have been a possibility. Peter could have walked in there with his, his nice ass suit and been like, congratulations, since you stayed back in the first room, you get a secret agenda. Like, that could have happened. And maybe that was her hope. I don't know. Other than that, I don't really see why she did it. Kat is another person who eagerly decides to stay back in one of the rooms, but she doesn't even get to because Kaleb can't stack the corks, and so she has to take over for him, and he ends up staying back. But I'm gonna be real, Kat only volunteers because she's trying to curb her guilt from sending her so-called friend home and getting Kaleb to stay in the game. She just feeling bad, so she's trying to do anything she can to make up for it. She's feeling extremely guilty right now, and that's why she's in a bad mood. I thought the last part of this wine cellar challenge was really fun, having them go through all the bottles and have to figure out the right wine. And I also love that the right wine was actually two different labels. One of them said you weren't wrong, which obviously the opposite of wrong is right, so you were right. And the other one was right with the W. I thought that was great. I loved it. I love little games like that. Also, Peter lives to shade these people, and I love that for him.
Please leave me alone to eat my meal in peace.
So the paranoia is starting to creep in. I talked about this in my last video. At a certain point, game shows like this is going to make you paranoid. You're going to start thinking everybody is a suspect at some point. Some games sooner rather than later. Typically for Survivor is right around the time you get close to merging the two groups or doing a group switch or something like that. People start getting a little iffy. But in a game like this, it seems like it happens almost automatically. Kaleb starts throwing Melissa's name around again. Because remember, he threw her under the bus in the last episode when he was like, she told me to follow you, Kevin. Yeah, he did that. And then he throws her name out again this episode because she offered him some of her sandwich or something. At this point, I'm starting to feel like Kaleb has a personal vendetta against this woman. Like, something about her he don't like. He just keep putting her in the danger zone. And then, to Melissa's misfortune, she also asked someone about brie, like cutting cheese or something. And then, of course, that leads people to think that she has some type of food-related agenda to complete. This game is so savage because you could be doing something completely nonchalant, completely just you being a normal person. And if those dots start connecting a little bit too much, like food and food, boom, you're the millionaire. You on the chopping block. Kasey even gets thrown into the mix because she brought up rom-coms. And it feels like a little bit of a stretch because she only brought that up because Kaleb said, oh, I've been with my wife since I was 18. And she was like, oh my God, that's a love, like out of a rom-com, which it is. So like she brought it up very casually, very nonchalant, like I said. And so all that happens before Kevin goes into the trophy room and gets this 1999 clue.
Millionaire was born the year Fight Club, The Matrix, and American Pie were released in cinema.
And this is just another example of the producers being very petty to me because y'all could have picked any clue at that point in time. Y'all could have said they all share this in common, they all share that. Y'all chose to go with movies. If y'all don't think that they used that movie clue on purpose because there was already a running theme about movies, if y'all don't think that was by design, I don't know what to tell you. Of course they purposely chose that clue in that moment. It's like obvious. I'm surprised that no one brought that up. Now, while that doesn't necessarily implicate Kasey, the trend here is that it's all movie related. So I'm just saying it would have been easy to kind of get your red thread out and start connecting the dots with her picture on a cork, what is it called? A cork board, a whiteboard? And I wholeheartedly believe that had she not been born in 1992, if she was even close to 99, they would have thought it was her. She's very lucky that she was born a few years before 99 because also how insane is it that all three of those movies came out in 1999? That's kind of crazy. Apparently 1999 was a great year for movies. After all is said and done, they do in fact not find the millionaire. The implication here, which we don't know because we got left on a cliffhanger, is that they tried to get Kat out because they suspected her for some reason. I don't know, just because. But they really messed up because now she stays and two other people are going because Nick gets to use his double barrel kill shot. In his confessional, Nick was contemplating the different ways that he could play this double barrel kill shot.
There's a couple different ways to go about it. One, kill shot people close to you so it can't be traced back, or kill shot threats to my game. But would that be obvious or would it make it seem like somebody's setting me up? There's like so much reverse psychology that goes into it.
This double barrel kill shot all comes down to strategy and how he wants to be perceived after the fact. And so it's going to be interesting to see. One thing for sure, if Umeko ends up being one of the people that he takes out, he might have to see me. Yeah, he might have to see me outside of Netflix studios. Ain't no way around it. And it's definitely a possibility because you can't trust this man. I think he put it on his dad and God that he wasn't a millionaire. Whole time we know he's the millionaire. So you can't trust him. We will see how all this plays out. Let me know y'all thoughts, predictions, anything else in the comments. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye! Of the other two people, there's four. I was about to say something that ain't got nothing to do with this show. During Nick's agendas time, I need to buy a bonnet for the back of my chair. That's just a side thought. Because I was just doing, in my car, I have a bonnet on my headrest so that when I'm doing this, I don't rub it. I just noticed that I'm doing that. You trying to fuck my hair up, low-key? That's crazy. I'm gonna get a bonnet for that. It's coming soon. Matter of fact, Jeff Bezos, where you at? I'm about to buy one right now for the back of this chair. Bonnet. I just need a simple one. Just not like a fancy one. I just need like an Evolve bonnet. It's hard to find bonnets these days. All the white girls buying them up. Got too big for your fucking britches. Where have you heard that? From your great-great-grandpa, probably?